Well, hello. Welcome once again to stately Vaughan Manor. Now today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my bookshelf tour. Apparently some of you guys actually watched me do this last night. I know, go figure. So I figured, well, I guess I'll do the second shelf then. So that's what I'll do today. Now tomorrow I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be skipping this for a day and I'm going to be doing something. When I first started watching BookTube, one of the first things that I watched was Steve Donahue when he did his Daily Penguin. Now what Steve Donahue used to do back in 2020 was he would go to his big bookshelf full of Penguin classics, he would take one down and he would talk about it. And then I realized the other day when I was up at the Rustic Vaughan Lodge, that's pretty much what I was doing for 3 days. I was taking out a Penguin classic and I was talking about it. Now Steve Donahue has stopped doing this. He's moved on to his library tour of doom, which is awesome. But I missed the Daily Penguin. And so I figured, well, he stopped doing it. I can't do it every day, but I think I'll do the Sunday Penguin. And every Sunday, I'll go to my Penguin wall and take down a Penguin classic and talk about it every Sunday, the Sunday Penguin, because the Penguins must march on. And hey, if you've got to steal from somebody, might as well be Steve Donahue. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Then Monday, I'll be back here doing this. And then on Tuesday, I've actually got a tag to do. I was tagged by Beating Around the Books, a fantastic BookTube channel. All of you should be watching Beating Around the Books. She's really clever, this young lady who does this channel. And she talks very intelligently about books. And then in the background, her cat causes destruction. You must watch Beating Around the Books. Okay, on to the tour. First thing I'll do is I'll move this photograph. Back in our younger days, me and my pal Justin used to be gunfighters. But that was a long time ago, back in the Old West. I'm pretty old. Okay, and I'm also going to be moving Dracula. Sorry, Dracula. Move Frankenstein and the Wolfman. Okay, you guys. And I'm also going to be moving the Virgin Mary and this very tiny adult who is hanging out on her shoulder. So I'm just going to move you down here, Virgin Mary. Okay, on we go. I have a book hanging out here. What is this? Oh, okay. This is not what I was expecting to be up there. This is Robert R. McCammon's The Wolf's Hour. This is a pretty great book, actually. It's about a werewolf in World War II who's a spy. I know. You want to run out and read it now, don't you? It's even better than you think it is. This is a good book. The Wolf's Hour. I gotta read this again now. Oh well, I'll put you aside. And we'll move on to the books that are actually supposed to be up here. Now the first set of books I've got up here, this is a great set of books that I picked up a few years ago. This is the collected fiction of William Hope Hodgson. And you can get a look at William Hope Hodgson right there. Handsome fellow from back in the day. He was one of the very, very early practitioners of the weird tale. He wrote horror and supernatural stories. And he was wonderful. And I've got his collected works. I'm actually going to be doing a whole video about this guy. I've been thinking about doing it for a while, but I was going to put it off until after I did my Lovecraft video, which is going to be sometime this week. I'm going to be doing an introduction to Lovecraft. And then after that, at some point, I'm going to be doing this guy because he is somebody who was a forerunner, and he did some great stories. This one actually is probably the most famous, The House on the Borderland, and this is just a fantastic edition. They're all just that nice, published by Nightshade Books. Yeah, look at that. It's so pretty. And this House on the Borderland is a great short novel. If you've never read it, look it up. Again, you can get it free because it's in the public domain, like all of William Hope Hodgson's work is. So if you've got a Kindle, you can go get it. You could read it right now. This is a great set. Just beautiful. These are all like that. Just beautiful books. Lovely. Okay, I'll put this back. And this next one, of course, we're coming on to the Sherlock Holmes, but I'll move Blood and Thunder. If you saw my Robert E. Howard video, you know that this is the greatest biography of Robert E. Howard, and I just shoved it up there, I think, after I did my Robert E. Howard video. And if you haven't seen my Robert E. Howard video, go see it. It's as amazing as everything else I've done. But Robert E. Howard was great. This is a great biography. It's just not supposed to be up there. So I'll move that as well. On we go. The annotated Sherlock Holmes. This was the first annotated edition of Sherlock Holmes. At least I believe that it was. Annotated by William S. Baring Gould. A magnificent volume of Sherlock Holmes. Just fantastic. I've got some random paper in there. I'll move that. Yeah, got a nice map in there when you first open it up. Got the original illustrations in here with annotations on the side. This is a great set. He does some great annotations in here, and it's just such a fun way to read Sherlock Holmes. This 2-volume set is actually my favorite set of Sherlock Holmes. I just have a special feeling for it. I looked for this for a long time, and I just could never find it at a decent price or in decent shape. Either it was too expensive or beat up. But I found these volumes at Pegasus Books in Berkeley, and I was so happy, and it's just fantastic. And these volumes are interesting because they were, instead of jumping around in Sherlock Holmes' life like the published volumes were as the books came out, this is supposed to be in chronological order. But, of course, there are lots of people who think that the chronology is all off. So I'll put you back up here. All right. And next comes the new annotated Sherlock Holmes. And this is where we're going to get into one of my favorite people, Leslie S. Klinger, who is an annotator and also does edits a lot of collections of great collections of short stories. Leslie S. Klinger. And so I've got a bunch of annotated versions that are by him. I'll show you one of the Sherlock Holmes volumes. Take it out of its fantastic slipcase there. Okay, back up there, slipcase. Now this is the novels. Yeah, these are the novels. Now what he did, first of all, I should say how great this is. It's fantastic. This is probably really the best set of Sherlock Holmes you can possibly get. It's incredible. The annotations in here are just brilliant. Everything that you want to know when you're reading a Sherlock Holmes story and you're like, what the hell is the gasogene? What the heck is that? The answer will be found in here. And in one of the, whichever volume has a story with a strange thing in it, you could find the answer to whatever question you've got in this set. It's amazing. As you can see, has all the annotations there to the right, and it's pretty heavily annotated, this volume. Like I said, he answers every question, and he has the illustrations from every edition he could find. So not just the Sidney Paget illustrations from the Strand, but like there's one now, but all illustrations from all kinds of editions. I mean, this is just, it's a treasure house of wonderfulness. It's just incredible. Man, if you love Sherlock Holmes, oh, these are the books to get. Only thing I don't like, there's one thing I don't like, and that's the way these books are split up. It's got the short stories here, and then the novels are split up into here, which is, you know, kind of a pain, because the first two things you should read are The Study in Scarlet and The Sign of Four, and then you have to go back to the short story collections, and then you have to come back to The Hound of the Baskervilles, and then go back there if you want to read it in publication order, which is the way to read it. So that's kind of annoying. I see why he did it, because this was published, these were published first, and then later the novels were published. So I understand why it was set up that way. And I really shouldn't complain about anything about something so wonderful. So I will put you back. I already showed you this when I did my horror video, which a lot of people watched. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't even wearing a tie. Why were you watching that video? But yeah, I talked about H.P. Lovecraft. This is the new annotated H.P. Lovecraft, and he does the same thing that he did with Sherlock Holmes for H.P. Lovecraft, and it's fantastic. Again, just tons of wonderful annotations. Yeah, this book is just great. Color out of space. Yeah, look at that. It's so creepy and cool. It's got all these illustrations and stuff. It's just... it's a great way to experience Lovecraft for the first time. I will tell you that. All right. And he came out with a second volume, by the way. Volume 2. Which is just pretty much everything that was left over that wasn't in Volume 1. Another incredible book. I love the cover, by the way. Yeah, all the same stuff in this volume. Masterful. Just recently, he came out with the new annotated Frankenstein. Just as good as the other ones. And Frankenstein is one of my very favorite novels. So you can imagine, I mean, look at that. Oh, look at the creepy wonderfulness. And everything you want to know about Frankenstein is in here. All the different versions of Frankenstein are in here. All the differences between the different published texts, because it was published different the first time than it was later. Slight alterations. And all those alterations are in here in this magnificent, fantastic book. If you're a fan of the novel Frankenstein, get this book. It's amazing. And of course, this could be my favorite. And you know why? It's Dracula. Fantastic, fantastic Dracula. I love Dracula. And this is the best version you can get because it's the new annotated Dracula. Everything, every question you have that you want answered, everything you're a little curious about, just weird theories you might have about Dracula, which if you've read it, 14 times like I have, you might have theories like that. They're talked about in the new annotated Dracula. And just super heavily annotated, like every page he's answering some question or coming up with some theory. It's just magnificent. And again, illustrations from all the movies, all the different editions that have come out. You've got maps. I mean, it's just beautiful and amazing and incredible. Look, there's Nosferatu hanging out there. I recently sent a copy of this to my mother. Hey, Mom, how'd you like this? Let me know. It's fantastic. Of course you loved it, Mom. Okay, I'm going to put it back here. Now, this is another book up here. Whenever you see books up here, I just stash them there for no good reason. They should not be there, but they are. And this is Don't Dream by Donald Wandrei, the collected horror and fantasy fiction of Donald Wandrei. I actually haven't read this yet. I have read plenty of his stories, and so I ordered this book because this is the collected horror and fantasy fiction. This guy was a contemporary of H.P. Lovecraft. He was actually friends with Lovecraft. I actually knew him personally. And so, yeah, it's really, really pretty good. He was not Lovecraft, but he was better than most that wrote in Weird Tales and the other pulps. He had some really cool, interesting stories. So I just had it up there because I keep meaning to read it and just keep not reading it. But I'm going to read it sometime in the near future. If not this year, maybe next. There we go. Now, on to Middle-earth. I've got this slightly dusty on top, The Hobbit. Yes. Everybody loves The Hobbit, and this is a great edition. A lot of people have this edition. You might have this edition. This is the original facsimile of the original edition with the illustrations. The original illustrations are in this book, and it's just beautiful. Look at that. It's just a beautiful, beautiful edition of The Hobbit. So when I read The Hobbit, this is the version that I read. It's been a little while since I've been back to Middle-earth, and now holding this wonderful volume in my hands makes me want to go back to Middle-earth. And I might do that at some point soon, maybe towards the end of the year. I'll need something a little different from the Malazan series, which I'm reading now, which is fantastic, by the way. Jeez. Okay, and of course, we've got here The Lord of the Rings. If I can get this out of its case, because it's a little tight for some reason. Yes. Yes, The Lord of the Rings. Everybody loves The Lord of the Rings. Well, I know one person who commented that he didn't like The Lord of the Rings, which is strange, but, you know, to each his own. Everybody else except for this one guy loves Lord of the Rings. It's fantastic. This version, there's a map that I never unfolded. There we go, Lord of the Rings. It's got everything in here. Just a beautiful, beautiful. Was this a 25th anniversary edition? No, of course not. It's the 50th anniversary edition, the 50th, and it's great. So I'll put back up here, and we only have one more thing to look at, so I'm not going to keep you all night over here. If I can get this guy back in its case, there we go. Now this next set of books is kind of cool. It is another set of Nightshade books like William Hope Hardson was, but this is quite a different author. This is Manly Wade Wellman, who a lot of people don't know about for some reason. This first volume is The Third Cry to Legba and Other Invocations. It's just great, pulpy, supernatural horror stories, a whole set of them. Yeah, it's great. If you don't know about Manly Wade Wellman, you should probably know something about him. This would be his most famous set of stories, Owl's Hoot in the Daytime, and other stories. Yeah, and this book is all about John the Balladeer, which is a fantasy horror character that is just a great character. And look up that character, look up this author. I was really lucky to get all of these books as they were coming out. I think they only made the 5 volumes, and they're just beautiful. Yeah, just beautifully printed volumes. Just fantastic. So glad to have them. See? Shelf number 2. Wasn't that exciting? Hey, before I go, I made myself a note to remind you of not to remind you, but to remind me to tell you about another booktuber I think you should be checking out. So if you've lasted this long, if you've lasted this long with a big fop doodle like me, you'll definitely want to see a good booktuber. So check out Revenant Reads. Revenant Reads. Now this guy is a smart fella, and he makes really interesting, great videos where he talks insightfully about books, a lot of history books and other things. Just really, really great channel. Revenant Reads. I'm going to put a link in the description down below, so check him out. Okay, guys, I will catch you tomorrow for the first Sunday Penguin. All right, see you tomorrow here at Stately Vaughan Manor.